Pregame.com.
Big 12 action on Thursday. We've got Kansas State playing Baylor. I'm Marco D'Angelo. I'm joined by Scott Spreitzer. Scott, Big 12, a lot of people consider this maybe to be the best conference. Definitely top-heavy, but a lot of the conferences are top-heavy. But you go down the list, there's a lot of good teams in this conference. This is going to be a tough ball game. The line, Baylor's -2. I'm going to throw it to you. This is your free pick, and I'll counterpunch you. What do you think here?
Yeah, I'm kind of with everybody with the way they're thinking. The Big 12, the Big 10, pretty close to being the top conference in the nation this year. Nebraska and Penn State probably knock the Big 10 just a short notch below the Big 12. But yeah, when I handicapped this game, first of all, wrote an article on Monday about the Baylor Bears and talked about how I think this team is going to be a real contender for a Final Four appearance in the Big Dance, despite the fact they're 4-4 straight up in their last 8 games, despite the fact they've fallen out of the top 5 and they're kind of in that 12 to 13 range now in the top 25. Their length, their size, their ability and agility with that length, I think is going to make a huge difference outside of the conference in the Big Dance. I think some of these Big 12 teams, and we're talking about the ones at the top, have grown used to what Baylor is trying to do, and so it got a little bit tougher for Baylor to beat those teams, and that's why they split their final 8 games straight up. But remember, this team is 13-0 outside of the conference. I'm going to get to the Kansas State game in just a moment, by the way, but I just wanted to mention, they're 13-0 outside of the conference straight up, and they've got double-digit wins over San Diego State, St. Mary's. They won in Provo over BYU, tough place to win. They won at West Virginia. They've got a 28-point win over Northwestern, on the ledger. So this is a red-hot basketball team, I think, once the Big Dance begins. They've got 5 players averaging between 13.5 and about 9.5 points per game, so they're tough to defend. They can over 47% of their shots. They make 38.5% of their three-pointers. This is everything that Kansas State is going to have to deal with again. Now, they split the regular season series. K-State won by a point in Manhattan, and it was a game that Baylor couldn't shoot. It was an unusual game. It was an anomaly for them because they could not find the bottom of the basket, yet they still came within a point of winning at Bramlage. Tough place to play. The other game at Waco was also pretty close. It was a 75-73 game. That was a great game. It was a great battle if you like offense, and both teams shot 50% or better in that contest. Now, Marco, when Kansas State had that slide where they went 6-7 straight up over about a 13-game stretch that ended in mid-February, Frank Martin, I was worried that this guy was starting to lose the team. He's got that fiery temper. He's always, they could be up 30 and he's screaming and yelling at guys. He makes Bobby Knight look like a soft-spoken individual. And what happened, though, is after that 6-7 slide, for the first time in his coaching career at K-State, he started saying things like, I've got to rein myself in a little bit. I've got to calm down a little bit. I've got to quit screaming and yelling and using all the expletives that I use. And all of a sudden, they've won 4 out of 5. The kids seem a little bit like they're playing better for him right now. They've got a win over Missouri in those 4 wins and that 57-56 win over Baylor. But I just think Baylor's too tough, and I think the team's had a couple of days now, a few days off, to regroup. And I think they're going to come out and beat Kansas State here by about 6 or 7 points. Only got to lay a basket. But even if they don't get by Kansas State in this game, I think they're going to be a serious contender because they are so different with their size and their agility with that size that they're really going to knock some teams around when it comes to the Big Dance.
I agree with you 100%. I think that when the brackets are set and then they put the odds to win the thing, that is going to be one of my sleeper teams to make a future bet on because, if they can avoid Kansas or Missouri in the Big Dance, they're 0-4 to those 2 teams, okay? And ironically for them, the schedule maker wasn't, real kind to them. They had to play Kansas and Missouri both times back to back.
Impossible.
That's tough to go against the 2 big ends. And like you said, they are such an athletic ball club that, outside of the Big 12 where everybody's familiar with them, and let's face it, Kansas and Missouri are 2 of the best, better teams in the country, they're going to make some noise. And if they can get into the right bracket and somebody stubs their toe, this is a team that I think can make the run, to the Final Four, and you're going to have a nice price on them. I'm going to have a futures bet on Baylor in the Big Dance. So I agree with you wholeheartedly there. I have a small lean to Baylor here. just a tough game because Kansas State, like you said, they are playing good ball down the stretch right now, and they can frustrate you a little bit. And Baylor, I think, likes to play a little more up-tempo and, let that athletic ability of theirs come to shine. In Kansas State, they're the type of team that can control the tempo that they want and can frustrate a team like Baylor. But I think in the end, Baylor finds a way to win it. I have them winning by 4, but this is your free pick. How do you see them finishing this game off and covering that 2-point spread?
My final thoughts on this is that, Kansas State, you break it down, better defensive basketball team. Much better numbers on the defensive end, but they don't score as much and they don't look to push the tempo, but they're nasty. They're blue-collar workmanlike, and they mirror Frank Martin's personality that we see when he's coaching games. So you're going to get their best effort, no doubt about it. I just think in this game, with Baylor having some time off and a little bit of time getting away from those Missouri-Kansas games, that they can regroup a bit and find a way to win this game by about 6 points. I also like Pierre Jackson, one of the most unsung guards in all of college basketball. And I think he's going to outduel Angel Rodriguez, the point man for Kansas State in this one. Jackson, to me, he might be one of the top 10 starting guards in all of college basketball, and you never hear his name mentioned. Pound for pound, if you want to use boxing terms, I think he's one of the best guards you're going to find, maybe the top 3 or 4 across the country. I think he's going to be a difference maker in this game. I'll back Baylor. It's not a game that I'm going to run out and say, give me 10 dimes on this team or whatever, but for a lean to Baylor to win this game by 6 points, I feel pretty confident in that.
There you go. You have Scott Spreitzer on Baylor. I kind of agree with him. I got Baylor by 4. So there you have it for Thursday. Free pick, Baylor over Kansas State. Now, Thursday's a pregame special. Every Thursday, pregame features one capper and offers his best bet for $1. On Thursday, you can check out Greg Shaker. He's been red hot so far month of March. He's been hot all season, but he's had a great start to the month of March. You can pick up Greg Shaker's best bet on Thursday for just $1. Just go to pregamepros.com. You'll see the details there. Check out Greg Shaker for $1 on Thursday, and every Thursday you can find a best bet at pregame for $1. It's a great way to introduce yourself to some of the handicappers and buying picks. He's Scott Spreitzer. I'm Marco D'Angelo. We're going to be back. We're going to take a look at a Friday night NBA game. We've got the LA Lakers. They're on their road trip here. They go to Minnesota on Friday. We'll tell you who's going to win that one next.